your third and final favorite breakout candidate for 2025 is?
Another deep cut. My headline being Burden of Proof, Luther making his case. Another guy whose ADP is starting to tick up a considerable amount from previously undrafted to latest rounds to now later rounds. And I still think that's the correct range, right? Nothing monumental happened with regard to Luther Burden. There's positive reports for him coming out of camp when he was able to rejoin his teammates after missing some time. And obviously the coach speak is going to be heaping praise on him. Ben Johnson goes out and spends a second round pick, his second pick ever at the helm for the Bears on this guy specifically. And now there's reporting out of Chicago that they view him as like a hybrid between DJ Moore and Rome Odunze, right? I wasn't exactly the highest Luther Burden stan in terms of his profile as a prospect, but if he had to land in a picture perfect place, it could not be better than in a Ben Johnson offense. And now data points are starting to amass. We have some film with him on the field in this preseason game. Looked clean getting in and out of his breaks. He made his opposing DB look absolutely silly on a 3rd and 15 where he was able to leave that guy shaking in his boots and pick up 16 yards for the first down. There was a later boot rollout where Bajent, if he just got to his second progression, had Luther Burden streaking in the end zone for a touchdown. So these are the little points of information that if they continue to stack up and they start to arc in a certain direction, you want to be a little bit earlier on, especially at this particular cost, right? So Seth called me out for the theme on a lot of my guys. I like a lot of the later options because you have a lot of optionality in terms of planting your flag and going and getting that guy. So I think Burden is another player to keep a very close eye on how practice and camp continues to unfold for him, how the preseason continues to unfold for him. And if he holds this trajectory, he could be a guy that's moving another round or two up and could be a favorite in this Ben Johnson offense this year.
Oh man, I really don't like Luther Burden as a prospect. I made that pretty clear.
Either.
No, but I want to believe like the narrative, like it's like Ben Johnson slot guy, right? Like this is the potential ARSB profile, and that's like what I think the belief here is. But I have a sneaky suspicion, and it's not just the clips I'm seeing online, but I think the Bears might struggle out of the gate, man, just because I don't know if Caleb Johnson is going to fit this Ben Johnson offense as much as we all think he has, man. Like Lincoln Riley, kind of a similar offensive play caller, and where Caleb was really making his mark was like the ad lib stuff, right? Like I just don't know if he can play in rhythm and on time as much as Ben Johnson is going to demand. And with Rome Odunze creeping up there and getting his own targets, hopefully this season as well, has a season with Johnson under his belt. DJ Moore is going to be unhappy if he's not getting his targets. And, oh, yeah, you got Colston Loveland, a top 10 overall pick, who's going to be catching balls as well. So it's like for Burden, again, he's the guy I want to watch, and maybe I'm wrong on. But I don't know if I can pull the trigger. That's all.
It's fair. I had the exact same position heading into the pre-draft process. This is the ideal circumstance for him to fall into. And like I mentioned, we're just accumulating data points, right? The more that the drumbeat continues to point us in a positive direction, the more I'm willing to buy in at cost, right? This is a guy that's a 12th, 13th rounder. Your questions, your open questions about Caleb Williams are fair. But if Ben Johnson can turn Jared Goff into an effective and arguably Pro Bowl quarterback, I think he can do it with just about anybody, right? Jared Goff was essentially solved and about to be laughed out of this league before Ben Johnson got his hands on him. So Caleb Williams might not be worthy of a number 1 overall pick. You know, that remains to be seen. I think Ben Johnson can make something work, and he's following the narrative street. Propensity is higher for him to try to make it work with the guys that he hand selected than the guys that he inherited.
Yeah, it's a great point. Curious, can I throw a couple names out there and just give me a would you rather one banger?
Yeah.
Cedric Tillman,
Burden,
Romeo Dobbs,
Ooh, probably Dobbs in light of all these injuries.
Brandon Ayuk,
Burden.
Keenan Allen.
Burden.
Oh, wow. Okay. Rashid Shaheed.
I like some Rashid Shaheed.
Okay. All right. So I think he's right in that. I mean, the good thing about this call, man, is he's going off the board wide receiver 16 ADP. That's actually where I have him for being down on him in
Yeah.
my ranking is wide receiver 60. But there are a couple guys that I do like a little bit better in that area, like Dobbs, like Cedric Tillman. I do have Ayuk above him, but that might change. And Keenan Allen for sure for me. But
Yeah. I wanted to go Ayuk over, but with the reporting this far out from the start of the season
yeah,
already
yeah,
saying we're looking at 6 weeks
I
if we're
know.
lucky, like
I know.
I'll just avoid guys that are going to miss
Yeah.
half of the fantasy season where I can.
Yeah, keep that IR slot open when you can. Thielen or Burden for Michael
Yeah,
here.
Burden. Thielen's going to be holding the clipboard or out on the street before long.
I have Thielen at wide receiver 63, Michael. So just a few spots
Yeah.
behind him, but he's in that like slot mix where all those guys who could catch a million passes and still not get a 1,000 yards receivers like Pop Douglas, Wandale Robinson. He's kind of like right in that volume slot wide receiver that you can plug into your lineup, but you're not going to feel good about it any week.